Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for ISEE upper level reading comprehension. So today is going to be a 30-minute tutorial of what we're going to go over. So everyone should have a handout where we will go over some questions, some strategies that I use when answering these. So just a little bit about myself. I'm a UCLA graduate. I'm a doctoral student right now. I've been teaching for 6 years. I'm a Southern California native, so grew up around here. And this is gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun today. So I have a Dr. Seuss quote here. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. All right, so reading comprehension passages, we have to be detectives. We're not being tested on knowing every single thing in the passage. We just need to be able to answer the questions correctly. So being able to identify, to know what the question's asking, and to be able to identify where that is in the passage, that's really one of the skills that we're going to be developing with reading comprehension in this today's tutorial. So got Detective Pikachu here. All right. Also, at the same time, we need to avoid the traps that are the answer choices that look correct. You know, maybe you see something in the reading comprehension passage and you look at the answer, and it's like 90% the same, but 1 or 2 words are changed around. Those 1 or 2 words can alter the meaning of the answer. So we need to be aware of the traps on the exam and how best to avoid them, because we don't want to be like the cat here that fell into the box. Just a little icebreaker before we go ahead and get more into it. Just take a minute and think, if you could spend an afternoon with any famous person, who would it be and why? I'll give you 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Famous afternoon, or famous person, if you could meet with them for one afternoon, who would it be and why? Yeah, okay, let's see. Elon Musk. Yes. Elon Musk would be interesting to spend an afternoon with him. He's a very bright individual. That's a good one. Anyone else, if you could spend online, anybody joining us over Zoom or anyone in the class, if you could spend an afternoon with a famous person, who would it be? Yeah. There's your hand up? No? Is there a famous person that you want to spend the afternoon with?
No.
No. Well, I guess I can go. I'd say Will Smith. If you've seen the new Aladdin movie, he's the genius. Somebody else? My son said Albert Einstein. Hey, that's a good one. We could all learn something from Albert Einstein. I like that one. Yeah, good answers. Yeah, Elon Musk, Albert Einstein, Will Smith. I mean, that's cool. Anyone else? All right. Very cool. And keep going. All right. I got another activity. I got to turn on the sound so everyone online can hear this. There we are. Okay, so if you're hungry, forgive me, you're about to be hungrier, as this man spends 2 minutes talking about food.
With a burger, as with all things that you cook, you have to ask yourself, is this thing I'm doing to this perfectly good classic dish, is it making it better? It might make it more entertaining. It might dazzle people and say, oh, look how clever he is. It might deconstruct it in a way that impresses people or delights them or astounds them. But does it make it better? The perfect burger is the classic soft, squishy potato bun, a hunk of well-ground, good quality beef, and more often than not, processed meltable cheese. Or if you like this kind, the sort of squashed, flat, perfectly acceptable twin gray patty, the In-N-Out burger model or Shake Shack model with some cheese, also perfect. Now look, I like a blue cheeseburger, but as with all things you cook, there are trade-offs. I like lettuce on a burger. Maybe even a tomato is nice, but it makes it structurally more difficult to eat. In a perfect world, you should be able to eat a hamburger with one hand and get a representative chunk of all of the elements. There's a tectonic slide that occurs when you start to overcomplicate and add other products. You know, a burger is a beautiful thing. It's not beautiful when you're wearing half of it, or you're left with 2 bites of just meat or just bun. Personally, I approve of ketchup on a burger, mayonnaise if you insist, but beyond that, you have to ask again, am I making it better? Am I making this more enjoyable by adding bacon? Maybe. How should that bacon be introduced into the question? With a burger, as with all things that you cook, it's not beautiful when you're wearing half of it, or you're left with 2 bites of just meat or just bun.
All right, I gotta stop sharing the sound. So the point that I'm trying to convey with this man talking about a burger for 2 minutes is reading comprehension questions will ask you things like, what do you make of the author's tone? So just listening to this and hearing him talk about a hamburger, would you say he's, here, I got questions on the next page. All right, so we're gonna look at the questions here. So I asked, how would you describe his tone when he's talking about the burgers? So which answer choice sounds right? Yeah, somebody said C. Anyone else? C. C. All right, C seems to be the consensus. Seems like, yeah, most people think it's C. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a C. He's excited. He's knowledgeable about burgers and enjoys talking about them. So, you know, I wanted to show a video to have you pick up on tone, because that is one of the questions that reading comps will ask for. And so, and then these other answer choices are good as well, because this shows how they kind of try to trick you. So answer choice A, you're not excited. He doesn't really like burgers. It's the opposite. He really likes burgers. So we know A isn't true. Answer choice B, he's indifferent. He's like, I don't really care. You can tell he'd rather be doing something else. That's not supported in the passage. So when you get reading comprehension questions, you need to follow the passage. So he'd rather be doing something else. We don't know that. And then I think he would rather be eating a hot dog, choice D. Again, there's nothing in this passage talking about a hot dog. You know, maybe you prefer hot dogs to hamburgers, but we have to follow the passage and not put our own opinion in here. And there's nothing in here supporting the idea that he likes hot dogs better than hamburgers. All right. So some of the questions that you will see include things like specific information in the passage, tone, which you just discussed a little bit, understanding the main idea, and in some cases, it'll ask you to define vocabulary words. So I have a sample passage, the handout that everyone's been provided in the class. That's the passage that we're going to be working with for today. And for those of you on Zoom, I'll have the passage up here for you as well. And these little dolls here are here for a reason. So this is long. If you have the passage in front of you, I just want you to see what a passage will look like. For those of you on Zoom, again, I just want you to see what a passage looks like. We're going to be breaking this passage down. So I'm not expecting you to read all this. All right, so we'll just go ahead and look at the first question. So for this one, we need to focus on the third paragraph. Question is, the author suggests that Matryoshka dolls were, here's our answer choices. So for those of you that are online, I'll go back to, the answer is in this passage. I'll tell you that rather than jumping from slide to slide. So I'll give you a minute to see if we can come up with the answer for this one. And again, we're looking for the most complete answer here. Not something that's partially true, something that is 100% true. All right, Lily said A. All right. I'll give us all another 30 seconds to see if we can come up with the answer for this one. Is it A? Is it something else? Okay. We got some answers coming in from Zoom. Okay, that's enough time. So somebody that's A is the correct answer. So somebody in class that we can hear, if you picked A, can you tell us why you picked A? Yeah, what's your name?
Michael.
Michael. Why did you pick A, Michael?
Uses inspiration for other art forms because it says like it just says and has served as inspiration for many other types of objects and objects in the last sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's like obvious.
Yeah. So Michael said, you know, if we look at this, I'm just repeating it so people online can hear. Michael said, if we look at this last sentence, we just see them talking about it as inspiration, and it's obvious. And Michael, you're absolutely right. The answer is right here. So we just have to know where to look for it. And then I'm going to, you know, we know that A is the right answer. I want to show why the other answers are wrong. I think I have that on the next slide. Okay. So one of the answer choices say that the dolls represent Russian leaders. That's not true. It actually represents Russian lady. So here's an instance of the answer choice just changing one word, changing instead of Russian ladies, and it puts Russian leaders. So just changing a single word can change the meaning of our answer and make it wrong. For this one, the dolls for choice C, we can eliminate that one because it says they've inspired things from clothing to furniture. Nowhere does it say that the dolls were intended for clothing designs. That's too strong of a statement. It's not supported. You know, we need our answer choice to be supported by the passage. This one, choice D, is wrong as well. And the answer choice said, portraying unhappy Russian people. The first sentence says that these dolls portray a cheerful Russian lady. So again, some answer choices are going to be the opposite of what the real answer was. So if you can identify, you know, 2 or 3 answer choices that are opposites of what you're looking for, you can eliminate those. So this one, choice D, can be eliminated. Choice B, we can eliminate immediately because it's talking about a cheerful Russian lady, not a Russian leader. So knowing the wrong answers is very helpful as well. That'll help us get the right answers. Again, this is just what I said. So, you know, a single word can change the meaning from happy to unhappy, from Russian lady to Russian leader can change the meaning. I got a couple more questions here, so we'll keep going along. Again, we're looking at the same third paragraph. I have it here for you. So how is this paragraph organized? Can you get the answer? You know, you can put it in Zoom. I'll give you 60 seconds or so. All right, we got some answers coming in from online. Leon, Lily, Mia are all saying C. All right, appreciate the participation from the people online. All right, somebody in class want to seize the correct answer. So somebody in class, if you guessed, if not guessed, if you selected C, do you want to explain why you chose C? Anyone else? All right, Michael.
So like I chose C, the inspirational art form and the effects are given. Because like first it says like are adapted to every event and then like they have served as inspiration. And then like it's the best is like layering speaks in all types of artwork ranges from clothes to furniture.
Yeah, you're identifying how it inspired things and then the effect of it inspiring stuff. So from it helped create clothing, furniture. Excellent. What about, these other answer choices? So we know C's right because it is in the passage, but let's talk about why these other answer choices are wrong. So choice D, it says the future of an art form is discussed. There's nothing in here talking about the future. I bolded the word today in here because that shows us it's talking about the present. So nothing in here is concerned about the future. So we can eliminate that answer choice right away. Choice A, a procedure is described sequentially. This one is wrong because a procedure would be like a process, would be like how the dolls are created. It would be like, they're painted, they're assembled this way, these are the steps. Nothing in here describes a procedure or a process. So we can eliminate that one too. Choice B, a claim is made and examples supporting the claim were presented. A claim is like an argument. There's nothing, this is informative. There's nothing in here that's argumentative. So there's no claim here, and because there's no claim, there's no examples to support the claim. Yeah, good job, Leon. Yeah, they're not supported. We're being detectives. We have to go as far as the essay tells us. We want to stick to the information in there. We don't want to add our own outside information into these. We need to stick strictly to what's being said in these. So we got that one right. Okay. Now the third question is asking about the main idea. So for main idea questions, I think a good strategy is to look at each of the paragraphs. What I did here, I wrote down the first sentence in each of the paragraphs because each paragraph the first sentence should be supporting what the main idea is. So if you make note of just what the first sentence in each paragraph are, that is one way that we can figure out what the main idea is. So that's what I did here. So here's the first sentence, first paragraph, first sentence of the second paragraph, first sentence of the third paragraph. Here's our answer choices. Now give us another 30 seconds to come up with some answers for this one. we got one answer. It looks like we got, I'm sorry, yeah, Leon's answered, Mia's answered. Give you another 20 seconds or so. All right, somebody in class want to guess what the right answer is? Michael, you were killing it today. We're going to give somebody else an opportunity. I appreciate the enthusiasm. And somebody else, what is the answer to this one? Yeah, what's your name?
Jenny.
Jenny. It's which one?
D.
D. Why is it D?
Because it was. Because it said the three paragraphs were mainly about that they were classic Russian art.
Yeah, so I mean, if we look at the first sentence in each of these paragraphs, it supports that idea. You know, they're classic Russian art, hallmarks of Russian folk art, classic Matryoshka doll, adapted to represent Russian culture. Good, these are all getting at the idea that they're classic forms of Russian art. And again, you know, there's some traps in here to be aware of. The popularity of Matryoshka dolls is declining. That's not supported in here. Nothing in here suggests that. The dolls are no longer artistically significant. Again, that's not supported either. You know, these dolls are inspiring clothing, they're inspiring furniture. So, I mean, these dolls seem significant. This is a tricky one. You know, I'm glad that, you know, if anyone puts C, I can understand why. Because it said each Matryoshka doll set is unique. This is true. You know, this is true. It's mentioned, you know, if I go all the way back, it's mentioned in the essay that they're unique. That's only one sentence. For main ideas, we need something that comes up in more than just a single sentence. We need something that's shows up a couple times, that's consistent. You know, if a point is just made in one sentence in the entire essay, that's probably not going to be our main idea answer. So, you know, that's what they tried. That's how they tried to trick us in this one, by saying each doll set is unique. That's true. You know, it's a weak answer. A better answer is, you know, this one, that they're classic forms of art. Okay. And then I had one more question on here as well. I don't think I included it in the slide. Did I? Okay. So I had one more question on here as well. And said, how would you, it's on the handout, so for people online, how would you describe the author's purpose in writing this? And the answer choices were, was the author critical, argumentative, informative, or skeptical? So again, how would you describe the author's purpose in writing this? Is he critical, argumentative, informative, or skeptical? I got these questions from the upper level book that I had. You know, some of the passages are more difficult than others, but this did come from my upper level book. Yeah, good. Okay, I see getting some answers in. Yeah, it's informative, yeah, because it shares information only. It's not critical. Critical would tell us, you know, it would give us an opinion. You know, it'd say why the Matryoshka dolls are good, why they're bad. If it's critical, it'd be why they're bad. Argumentative would be doing the same thing. You know, why the dolls are really cool, you know, why the dolls are not cool, not popular. Skeptical, kind of the same thing as critical. So again, this was an upper level passage, but this was an easier one because what I wanted to get at is kind of the fundamentals that we're looking for in these identifying trick answers and just knowing that we don't need to know every piece of information, but we do need to know where to look. And for that reason, a good strategy is before you get to the passage itself, you should read the questions beforehand. That'll make you an active reader because when you read the questions beforehand, maybe some of the questions will be like, oh, I need to know the main idea. So that's something to keep in my head. Oh, it's asking me what this word in the passage means. So when I see that word, I should pay attention to it, or I need to follow these specific lines in the passage, these 5 lines, it's going to ask me a question. So you should really look at the questions before you start doing the reading, because that'll turn you into an active reader, which is what you need to be for this test. Okay, and then I just included a little information on what the class format would look like. So like I said, I took this passage from an upper level book that I have, but I would include, like I would print out the passages themselves so you don't have to buy a book, and I would bring those to class. In addition, I would assign a homework somewhere in 60 to 90 minutes per week. It's not mandatory, the homework, but to do as well as you can on the test, I would highly encourage you to do it. But if something comes up, emergency, and you can't do the homework for that week, that's fine. I understand. And then another thing is, some weeks I will be bringing material, and then other weeks I'll have you bring in material, something that interests you, a topic that interests you. And then I'll ask you, tell me the main idea, tell me the tone, tell me what's significant about this part of it. So, I'll have you bring in material that's interesting to you. I will provide some material. And then lastly, I'm here for you. If there's a specific thing you're struggling with to understanding ISEE, reading comprehension, I'll help customize a lesson plan for you. I want you to do well on this. I'm a resource here, so, use me. Are there, I'll open it up now. If anybody has any questions, I'm here.
I have a question. What book do you recommend for the reading comprehension?
Yeah, so I've used the Princeton one before. That's where I got this question from. A lot of companies have books. Princeton Review. I would include material from Kaplan. We have a lot of the books here. So, like I said, I would include, the material from those when I make lesson plans.
Okay, so so we don't have to buy a book, but if I want to, I can buy the Princeton one or the Kaplan one.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies that make books. Those are some of the big ones. So I've looked at both those. They're good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so you got another question. For the exam, does the report look differently if taking the exam at home versus the testing center? What do you mean by the report? Like, does the exam itself look differently if you take it on the computer versus written? Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one. Yeah, that's a good question. If the score would probably be the same. I don't know the answer to that. I'm a teacher for this stuff. I'm not a grader. But yeah, let me write that down though. Any other questions? Anyone in class have a question? I know, I've been asking the people on Zoom. If anyone in the class has a question, now's your time. All right, well, that's all we have for today. I want to thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you in the class. All right.